pretties? Welcome to Bob's Trail. So today I am having a bit of a bad day. So let's not talk about that too much. But I am excited though because I have not done a tag video in a very long time and I figured this is the time. Samantha March not too long ago posted her yearly eyeshadow palette tag, which she does somewhat revamp every year and changes the questions slightly. So I'm gonna leave her down below because she was a creator and she again revamped some of the questions. So I'll leave her video and the questions down below. If you're interested, go for it. But yeah, we're doing the eyeshadow palette tag because that's what we do at the end of the year. But anyway, I'm really excited for this one. I, for once, prepared all of my palettes ahead of time. So I'm not trying to make this up on the spot. Which, aren't you proud of me? I'm proud of me. But okay, so the first question is your newest palette. And it is singular, however, my newest palettes I bought together. Natasha Denona was having a sale, and so I bought the golden and the I Need a Warm palette together. So there's that. I haven't bought anything since then. They were in a really good set. I think they were both for like around $55, $52, something like that, which I was like, steal for Natasha Denona, even though it's definitely a pretty penny. But this is the golden palette. I really love the undertones of the mattes here. And then you have Natasha Denona I Need a Warm, which honestly, the steal for me here is the shadows. So that being said, the next question was a favorite release of 2024. These are the only two palettes that I bought this year that were actually released in 2024. So it kind of, answered the question for me as to what I was gonna pick. So I essentially just had to pick one of the two. And I actually went with the I Need a Warm. Although I prefer the mattes on the golden. This actually worked really nicely on my skin tone. So I have no issues with this. And really the standout for me are the shimmers. I really love the shimmers. These two are my favorite. I actually like Phenomena quite a bit. I've messed with this row quite a bit. And if you know me, you know I prefer mattes over shimmers. And if I can say I love the shimmers to the palette, they're good. So I really enjoy this palette, shimmers. Okay. All right, so I do have one other palette that I believe repeats, but this is one, there's one more that's gonna repeat later on. So palettes you didn't expect to love. And this one came out, I think it was like June of last year, and it was the Sigma and Angela Bright palette. I bought it because I love Angela Bright. I honestly like the color story, but I definitely had some qualms with the palette and some of the undertones of some of the colors. And I'm not saying I had like a poor opinion of it when I first reviewed it. I did have first impressions of it as well, but I was not raving about this palette. By the way, gorgeous color story. But since then, I've consistently been using this palette every quarter this year, nonstop. It's consistently getting a lot of use from me. I don't know what it is. I really like it. I still feel like this shade right here, Faye, should be more green. I don't know how to explain that. I wanted it to be more green, more like foresty green, but I still really like it. So, this little threesome right here, actually the quad right here, this little quad right here, and then I do appreciate the little pops of color. So I like it. I really love it, and I wasn't expecting to love it as much as I ended up loving it, especially from the first impressions. And that's why you really just cannot go off of first impressions, because I was really trying to do like this green look, and that just was not it. And I just had to learn, this is a pop of color palette. This is not a let's make a colorful look palette. I mean, you can technically, I did do a colorful look, but that was not, I don't think that's what it was intended for. And like I said, you just really cannot go off of first impressions. Another reason why I don't really like watching those. But anyway, favorite collab palette. If you've been in my channel for any length of time at all, literally, you will know that the Kathleen Alliance and ColourPop So Jada palette has been a consistent top 3, top 5 in my collection since its inception into my collection. I love the shade of this palette. This is one of the few palettes that I naturally reached for every quarter in the year without me having to put into some sort of shop my stash or leave it at my desk, at the top of my desk. Consistently reach for it on my own the entire quarter, every quarter, the entire year. I love this palette. Even though I didn't have like a gigantic amount of uses, consistently used it, and I really do appreciate that. Let me open it. There is some slight differences in the palette from what it would originally came out. So I did take out the two glitters that were right here, and I put some colors that are from the Colourpop and Shayla palette, the Proceed with Caution. And then I don't have diamond here because I have diamond at the front top of my desk here so that I can reach for it, because it was one of those Super Shock formulas, and I just wanted to make sure to keep it fresh, so I wanted it a bit more sealed than what I had here. But palette, gorgeous. Gorgeous, just gorgeous. Okay, PR or gifted palette you love. I don't get PR, so gifted palette it is. And technically my boyfriend gifted this to me, and I said technically because he's like, what do you want? And I put it on my Sephora card, and then he just paid for it. So does that count as gifted? Yeah, I think it was for my birthday, like last year. Or maybe it was, yeah, it was my birthday, but I ended up buying it around like the Black Friday sale. So anyway, it's Makeup by Mario, the Ethereal Eyes, that when they re-released it. I really love this palette. Gifted palette you love. I love it. I used a ton of it. And FYI, this is the repeat palette that you're gonna see later on in the video. I don't know why it's so dark right now when it was super sunny earlier, and then all of a sudden it got super cloudy, and I can kind of see my face in the back, and I feel like I look really dark. I'm just gonna turn the light on. I'll be right back, guys. I am back. So this is the palette I said was the one that was gifted to me, and I love it. And again, this is also the repeat palette from this video. I got it at the very end of 2023, and so I've just been consistently using it all year long. And this one I actually had to put away to make sure that I use other palettes, because I remember the first couple of months of the year I just was using it non-stop. I could not stop using it. I feel like the light just made the highlight in my nose super bright and I can see it in like the screen, and I'm just like that's a little too much. That's a little too much. All right. Anyway, but I really love it, and you will see this again. All right, let's see what else we got. Don't love but won't declutter is the next palette. And it's weird because I feel like for a while there I really loved it, and I don't love it anymore. And even though I said that I loved it, I didn't use it as much as I feel like I should have used it for how much I said I liked it. And I do really like it, but I can't get rid of it either. I don't love it, and I just don't know what it is. I think it's the formula, if I'm being honest. I feel like these mattes are a little hard to blend. They're pigmented. Yeah, it's not exactly they're too pigmented, because I have other formulas that I feel are more pigmented than this one. It's not blendable. And honestly, I'm a great fucking blender. I can blend, and I have really good brushes that I mean, I can make bad products blend well because I know I use good quality brushes. But this one, I feel like I spend too much time blending. I don't know what it is. I love the color story. I love this little threesome right here. I really love this shade Pinker. I think these are beautiful. I've made some really cool looks with these two shades right here at the bottom. But I mean, I like it, but I don't love it, and I will not get rid of it. I don't know, it's hard to explain. I really do like the color story. It inspires me. There you go. That's what it is. Would repurchase if lost. So I do have a twofer here, and I think that's gonna be my two Persona Identity palettes. I really love this formula. I am a little disappointed that it looks like they're discontinuing Identity 2. I guess it just wasn't as big of a seller as I thought, and honestly right now it's not like the eyeshadow palette time, so they've adjusted and they've been focusing on other things, which is perfectly fine, right? But you have the Persona Identity 1. Honestly, this formula is just fabulous. These shimmers are so smooth, they will erase any lines that you thought you had or that you actually do have. They will erase it for you. It's really strange. The mattes are very pigmented, very buildable. They are pigmented straight off the bat. You can build them up to be even more. They blend beautifully. These remind me of like Natasha blendability, but with more pigment straight off the bat. They're just gorgeous. So this is Identity 1, and then you have the Identity 2, which I know is my personal favorite. I know most people think of it like the other way around, but I do really like this muted jewel tones. I know not a lot of people think like that. I do. You know, it doesn't have to be for you. That's okay. And again, these mattes are just Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. If you want to do a colorful look, something a little bit more neutral, you absolutely can with this palette. And I really love the formula. So I would absolutely repurchase. If anything were to happen to either of these, I would repurchase it. All right, most traveled with. That one is, again, no surprise to anyone if you've seen any of my travel with me videos, and it's the M Cosmetics palette. I've been loving the hell out of this palette. Another reason why I love to travel with this, even though it's a pain in the ass, you can't really fucking open it. So it makes me feel like even if something went to shatter, it's not gonna like go everywhere because it's so hard to open this thing. But perfect little nude if you want to do something more neutral, if you wanted to do something a little pinker, a little more romantic, if you wanted to smoke it out, if you need an inner corner highlight, if you want a little more smoke, if you just want a little bit of glitter, if you want to just do matte, you can. It's just the perfect little matte, like travel to go palette if you just want something easy on the go. And the formula, beautiful. It's way more pigmented than you think it is. It's buildable, it blends really nicely. I don't think anyone's surprised by this at all. First palette used in 2024, and this is when this palette came back. I used the fuck out of the shimmers for the new year. This was what I was going for, and have not looked back. I have enjoyed every look that I've created with this palette this whole year, and I'm just really happy with it. I'm really glad that I got it, and I should have bought it when it first released, but I was like, no, I'm good. I don't need it. And I think at the first I had seen some comparisons with the Urban Decay Moondust, and I have quite a bit of those, and so I was like, I don't need it, but I'm so glad I got it. I'm so glad I got it. Okay, palette that sparks joy. I chose the Tasha Denona My Dream palette. I don't know what it is, to be honest, about this palette, but I'm just like, I feel so good about it. Funny enough, the shades that I feel like everyone's the most attracted to is like these three right here. These are not my favorite shades, even though I know it's the multichrome. And it's really cool because I'm seeing it from that side and it looks green. I'm looking for the front, it looks purple. I'm looking on the screen, it looks pink. I really like the multichrome. I like multichromes in general, but I don't know why when I come into this palette, I never reach for it because I'm so attracted to every other shade. The undertones are just perfect for my personal skin tone. I really like the other shimmers except for Invention. Invention is my least favorite one. And if I am gonna go for a purple, this is the kind of purple that I will go for. So there's something about this palette that I just look at it and I was like, I really like you. I think you're a cool chick. I think you and I could sit together at lunch, and I enjoy that for us. Okay, now the sun's out again. What is going on? Okay, let me just turn off this light because I don't feel like it's needed now. I don't know what the heck is going on, but anyway, this one sparks a lot of joy for me. All right, Keep for the Memories. This is a palette. I've never had the box where like the makeup memory box. I know a lot of people have those. I've never been very sentimental about my makeup or pretty much objects in general. That is just not me. But there's something about this palette that I really like. And it wasn't necessarily my first palette that I owned, but it was the first palette that I bought, now understanding that it was a good quality palette. I think I bought a couple of like cheap ones like at the drugstore that I'd never even heard of the brand before because I just wanted something, and this is the first like high-end palette that I bought. And it was the Laura Lee Los Angeles Cat's Pajamas. I know everyone wants to like rag on the packaging. The packaging is interesting. Although I do appreciate that although it's glittery, it's not actually glittery. Like I'm not gonna end up getting like glitters like completely like sealed in or however they did it. Because I can feel the texture a bit. So it's just sealed in. And it's the oldest palette in my collection. I was supposed to declutter at the end of this year because it's going on year number 8 with me. And I've decided I'm gonna give it for one more. I played with the formula this year and I had no issues whatsoever. So I feel confident about that. I know it's technically expired, but I haven't had any issues, and I think I'm gonna keep it until it does expire because I just really like it. I have reached for it. The formula still works fabulously, to be honest. And I mean, I have pan, I have dips. I love this palette. My sister actually bought the exact same palette as I did at the same time that I did, and she has, surprisingly enough, different pans. So she has pans on Cray Cray, and she has pans on Cookie. She also has this one on Okie Dokie. Yeah, I really love this palette. I don't know what it is. So I have a lot of memories attached to this palette. For a long time, this was like my only palette that I really consistently used. So yeah. Underrated palette. So another twofer. I have two palettes for this one, and I feel like in general, L'Oreal Los Angeles, the brand is very underrated. And I think the perfect example for that is when she had that, what's it called? Collab with Lunar Beauty, which is Manny's brand, and they came out with Full Fantasy. Everyone was like, oh, this formula feels just like Manny's formula. And in my head, I was like, no, bitch, that's Lara's formula. I can see that. And I tested both formulas, and the shimmer texture was different. And it reminded me of the shimmer texture of the Nudie number 2. That's the formula that on this palette. The mattes were, that was Laura Lee's, because I remember Manny's mattes, although they're nice, they're not nearly as nice as Laura's mattes. And I was like, they're similar. Honestly, both brands are very similar. You can tell that they both go to the same lab. I can tell you that right now. I'm pretty confident both of them make their products at the same lab. And although they're similar formulas, I do think this was Lara's eyeshadow formula. Okay, the sun went away again. What are we playing? Hide and seek. Jesus Christ. Okay, so Lara's. It's Lara's formula. But anyway, that being said, I really like Nudie Patootie. I don't know what it is. This was a truly neutral before neutrals were like a thing. It wasn't like too warm. There's some slight warmth to it, but it was like a true neutral. I really liked Strip and Bayer, to be honest. I actually bought a glitter glue because of these two shades, and it gives you a lot of texture. They're duochrome textures. They're really pretty. And honestly, this palette, so underrated. I know for L'Oreal Los Angeles, it's like a hero product, but for many people who are not familiar with L'Oreal Los Angeles, they're gonna be like, what the fuck are you talking about? I mean, you might know who the YouTuber is, but you probably just haven't tried her formula. Honestly, her formula is very, very nice. I've been saying it for months. I'm like, she's gonna discontinue it, and I feel like she finally said it without saying it, but she's closing her down. This is my theory. I think she's gonna consolidate L'Oreal Los Angeles with Minimal, because Minimal started coming out with like makeup adjacent products, and I think those have been doing very well, and I think that's what's happening. She's consolidating. So yeah. Anyway, and then the last underrated is Natasha. I'm like, bitch, what are you talking about? Natasha Denona is not underrated. You're right, she's not. Specifically the Zendo palette. Because I remember this was the first Natasha Denona palette that I tried. And that is because I've seen a lot of her palettes. A lot of them were very monochromatic. And I wanted a little bit of color and a little bit of like neutrals. And my favorite colors to wear in the eyes is green. Because I have brown eyes. And if you wear green on brown eyes and with my olive undertones, it just really pops. And so that's what this was, and I fell in love with the formula. A lot of people were like, this is not Natasha's best formula. I actually think it is. Yes, some of the shimmers are not as impactful as some of her other shimmers, but this is still a very nice formula. I know a lot of people was like, this is quite not right. I saw so many reviews before buying this, because I did not buy this when it came out. I waited like nearly a year from when it released, and I'm like, I'm gonna buy Natasha Denona palette. I need to make sure I'm making a good choice as to what I'm getting, because it's expensive, so I'm investing here, and this is what I got, and I'm very happy with it. I really like it. It's another one that I've consistently been using year after year. I've used this one every single quarter this year. I'm very happy with my purchase. No complaints there. And that's it for the tag. I'm gonna link Samantha's video, like I said before, below, and also the questions. If you want to answer some of these questions in the comment section, please do. I love to hear you guys what I have to say, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye guys.